Narrative is funded by viewers like you. Support our independent journalism at patreon.com/narrative. It might be time for the segment that we've been working on, or you've been working on. The Pantheon of White Whiners. Need some music, but there we go. So this is Nina's idea of you like the graphic. I quite like it too.
It's fun.
That's very nice.
So we're gonna go into the Pantheon, and
we're getting bugged driving up and down the same old strip. We're gonna find it. I'm sorry, that's the whitest music that I know.
So we've got 5 new inductees plus more, a couple of nominees into here. I'll go one at a time, and these are no particular order. But number 1 in the new Pantheon of White Whiners is Mr. Josh Hawley.
Yes.
I think so. I think he deserves to be there. Tell us why Josh is an inductee this week.
I mean, look, Josh is he's a fake populist. His daddy is a banker. He went to Stanford and Yale. He's supposedly concerned about the trampled rights of voters who he knows did not lose by fraud. He knows they did not lose. He's personally worried now about being geolocated. That's why he's asking Ray those questions.
He looked really nervous. He was terrified.
This is a guy who is going to come to regret. He's going to come to regret, and you can almost hear the whining already. But he's quivering right now.
Yeah.
He's in that pre-Kavanaugh hearing stage when Kavanaugh's sort of, because we're using Kavanaugh as our kind of the benchmark.
The benchmark for who belongs into the Pantheon.
The full tantrum. The full tantrum.
Yeah. I mean, never go full Kavanaugh. Never go full Kavanaugh.
I should have chosen the different picture. I should have chosen the one with the fist. But maybe next time we'll get a new statue of Josh.
And tough guy went after the ACA as AG of Missouri. Like the people of Missouri don't need health insurance.
How's he going to go back and answer that?
I went to college not far from there, and I can tell you that's where they made Deliverance, and there's a reason why.
I never heard of this guy before today.
Who's that?
Who is this guy?
He's very white.
Oh, he's Federico Klein. What a great name! And
he's not Federico Klein. He's not Federico. No. This is I got to get a few. Sorry, 1 second.
I don't know who that is then.
I think it was Joe somebody or other. He was. You said.
Is it Luke Coffey?
It's Luke Coffey. There you go.
Oh, sorry. Yeah,
who's that?
Sorry, we didn't. Yes, this is
Luke Coffey at a younger age, apparently.
Luke Coffey. Yes, lovely guy. He is the Texas one of the upper middle class Texas insurrectionists who went home after breaking into the Capitol with his pals and knew that the FBI was looking for him. So where does he go? To a luxury Texas hill country resort owned by one of the fellow travelers who wasn't there, but who thinks the whole Capitol riot was a joke. And he lets nice little Luke stay with him for a couple of weeks until the FBI is hot on his trail, and he's unrepentant to the last. Then he turns himself in eventually, and the Texas Monthly article has a final phone conversation with him in which he's quivering and saying, I know that I brought shame onto my family.
That's good. At least he has some recognition of that at the very end.
Yes, he has some
recognition. A hint of humanity.
But hiding out at the luxury. That's the rabble that Trump, the true rabble, behind this insurrection, are these pretty well-heeled people.
Well, they're revealing themselves as people who don't believe.
Little to objectively complain about.
Yes, and they don't.
That's
think
a really
ever
good
face
point. That's a really good point. That it's not a socioeconomic thing. These are like upper middle class people, not poor people rising up or something. But are we sure that's really him and not like The Bachelor next season?
It could be. He might be
He's
on the
like
new right-wing
smoldering
TV
this guy.
network. He might be. They're doing a Bachelor.
No, because he was an actor. He's a TV
He was an actor. He was in.
Luke
he was in
Coffey
some
has,
TV
so he
show.
has an IMDb, and he has probably got done headshots like that.
For many years ago. That must be his
Okay.
headshot from the
Yeah.
1980s. He doesn't really look like that anymore.
Here's another
Tucker.
whiner. Tucker is, he's running for well, he and Sean Hannity are kind of running for the white male weeping media Madonna kind of.
He's a Nazi.
they're-
He's an actual Nazi.
They're Nazis, and they're stepping into the roles that were filled by the long lost Rush Limbaugh and dearly departed Roger Ailes. The
amount of lies these guys spew every night.
Here's Tucker right after the white supremacists. Right after the government decides we're going to go after the white supremacists. The white supremacists. There's now going to be a war on the white supremacists. He says innocent people could be hurt in this war. They usually are. There could be collateral damage in this war, and the casualties will be Americans. Oh, boo-hoo-hoo.
They don't think they need to face any consequences. That's the thing about all these insurrectionists and these people on Fox, and maybe it's just generally white people in America. They don't feel like they ever will face any consequences. They haven't before, so they can basically get away with anything. And we've sort of let them get away with everything, and that means that they believe that they're the real Americans. I mean, it's sort of this getting away with crime, a la Donald Trump, a la everybody else, sort of makes everyone feel, well, they're superior because they must be superior. They face no consequences. So it's sort of like it's feeding on itself in some ways, and it's kind of a real problem.
Yeah.
When did he get rid of his bow tie? I feel like if we just circulate pictures of him with his bow tie, the MAGA people will turn on him.
I had the same question. I had the same question, Greg. I'm like, where did the bow tie go? When did that? Sometime in the Trump years, he took it off.
I feel like we can. Whatever that moment was is when he turned. I feel that.
Wow.
Probably. That's probably the day and the time. By the way, Nina, people are desperately asking me about your wainscoting and how gorgeous it is. And I'm like, I don't know what kind of wainscoting it is, but maybe you can let our viewers know so they.
It's very old. It's an old house.
It's just an old house.
It's a very old house.
It cannot be bought.
It can't be bought today.
Oh, you can buy wainscoting.
But it looks like that. Apparently, it's fantastic. Yeah. Apparently, the wainscoting's fantastic, though. They really are. And you can get one of the patrons on a narrative is offered a free bottle of sheep's milk if you ever come by. Should you come up there by their part of the way? I'll send you the details. Maybe you can explain the wainscoting. Final inductee this week to the Pantheon of white whiners. Franklin Graham?
Yes, it's Franklin Graham. And here's the deal with Franklin and really all of them. But
Christoph Fascist.
Here's the thing about the white evangelical Christians of America. They constantly complain about how they're under attack. In fact, it's kind of an organizing principle for them. You hear, Jenna Ellis, Trump's lawyer.
Oh, I forgot about her.
Complaining about, the Christians are under attack. We can't, and so here's this guy, and let's just think about this for a second. White, millionaire, absolute millionaire, very well-to-do people. They are the most defended human beings in human history. White American Christians are the most defended human beings in human history.
Yeah, you're right.
Yep. They're safe. They're the safest and most defended people in human history. I have to keep saying that because. So what does he do?
And he is second generation too. His daddy.
Second generation. Yeah. He has all this power that he could actually be using for good. We're in a crisis. We're in a
Christian good.
Christian good. The nation is on its knees. There are people lined up in food lines. Yeah. There are people in hospitals. There are people who can't get vaccinations. He could be doing all sorts of good. What is he using his megaphone for? He's whinging about the possibility that they're losing their, quote, religious freedom in the Equity Act, which the Democrats have
Equality Act.
have introduced to counteract the outrageous Supreme Court decision that Hobby Lobby won, allowing people to sort of not follow statutes related to public health if they were, objecting to gay people or selling of contraceptives or so on. This is what he's using his megaphone for. And I just find it, he absolutely belongs in the pantheon of white whiners this week.
Why are these guys that have the religious institution seems so filled with gay people? I mean, there's lots of priests that are gay. There's lots of, you name it. There's just lots of gay people in those institutions. Why are they the ones that are the most critical about any LGBTQ rights and the most offended by this Equality Act? I mean, it seems like they should be out front.
They're self-loathing because of their religion. Because of religion.
They're hiding something. They're hiding something. That's for sure.
Well,
they want to maintain a system, basically. I heard that the reasons why the Lubavitch guys are against it is because they have to have integrated lunchrooms or something like that. Well, have integrated lunchrooms. It's fine. It's 2021. You can do that now. You don't have to stay all boy on one side and all girl on the other side. But I guess they think they should. Hey, I've got one more. I left him out almost. Tom Cotton. We've discussed him already.
Fuck you, Tom Cotton. Fuck you. Sorry.
Yeah, I think that's all that
traitor
needs to be said about Tom.
Anybody that's delaying the Merrick Garland thing is a fucking traitor. Period. Full fucking stop.
Or guilty of the insurrection.
Antifa.
And that brings us to the end of tonight's Pantheon of White Whiners. There they are, your new inductees. Yay! We'll do the segment again one day. We have one more thing to talk about tonight, and that is the brilliant Kavanaugh segment or series of articles that featured in the Prevail publication that our brilliant Greg Olear does. Greg, talk to us about Brett Kavanaugh.
Brett Kavanaugh's bad. So yeah, Lincoln's Bible and I and she sat this one out, but she said to say that remember when you showed the picture of all those horrible people that were the MAGA people, that she calls them the unfuckables. So we should acknowledge. And also that Jared is smart enough to pay lawyers and actually listen to them, unlike Trump, who pays only lawyers who tells him what he wants to hear. That's the difference, right? So Lincoln's Bible and I worked on this Kavanaugh series. I think it winds up being something like 24,000 words, which is really long.
Kind of long. I read
maybe it's not. Maybe it's 22. It's long. Okay, it's a bear. And we dropped the last installment today, which is sort of the summary. And if anybody missed the first four, today is a good one just to read because it really wraps up nicely the stuff. I wrote about Kavanaugh. I had a couple of pieces about him in 2018 during the confirmation process. There's echo now.
I know. I don't know why the echo's showing up.
You think it's me?
I think it's you again, but I can't see.
I'm going to take it.
I'm going to mute everybody so you can talk.
Okay. Okay, I'm not echoing. Good.
Okay.
In 2018, I wrote a couple of pieces about Kavanaugh, specifically dealing with his finances. And then, we tried to do whatever we could do. He wound up getting confirmed. We sort of tabled it until the Democrats took over. Now the Democrats are here. So it's time once again to focus on Kavanaugh. There's only 9 people on the Supreme Court. And one of those people is compromised. The title of the piece is Who Owns Kavanaugh? We still don't know. Going back and researching again and doing a deeper dive into this, first of all, his finances are even more fucked up than we thought in 2018. There's crazy shit going on. The down payment of the house happened in 2006, right? He plunked down a down payment of almost $250,000. He did not have anything close to $250,000 on his person at that time, per the disclosures. So he somehow got this money, plunked it down, was able to get a mortgage. The mortgage is for $950,000, almost $1 million mortgage. The guy was making $62,000 a year. And his wife wasn't working because I'm no mathematician. You cannot pay that.
No.
The mortgage payments alone were more than he made for years. Not the taxes, not the insurance, not the groceries, not the country club that he belongs to, this and that. Just the mortgage was more than he made in a year. Okay, more than he took home in a year. That happened right before, like months before, the first time he gets nominated to be on the court for the D.C. Circuit Court. Fast forward, and he goes through this other stuff, and now he's accumulated all these credit card debts. We don't know because there are bands of debt on the federal disclosures, but he's anywhere between $45,000 and something like $150,000 something in credit card debt over years. Right before he's about to get nominated for this thing, like within 6 month span, it just vanishes. Just poof, gone.
Must be nice.
Yeah. And the explanation that he gives is, some friends and I went in on baseball tickets, and I bought the tickets, and they paid me back, and it's totally fine. This is what friends do. And it's like, dude, you can barely afford to pay for your house. How are you buying season tickets to the fucking Nationals games? Why would you do that at all? And like, the whole thing was crazy, right? So, and that was right before he was nominated to the Supreme Court. So he had two basically influxes of major cash right before he goes on a judicial court. And it may be that his dad gave him the money. His dad was a lobbyist, a corporate lobbyist for the toiletry goods lobby, and did that for years and was very, very well to do, and got, when they pushed him out of that job, left with a like $13.5 million parachute, golden parachute. So he could have easily given him the money, but we don't know this. Nobody
Why wouldn't
told
he say that? He should have said it that then.
He didn't say it. Maybe he could skirt around it, but he never said it. He never answered the question. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't really make sense anyway, because if the dad, and Brett Kavanaugh is an only child, if the dad, who has his house is paid for and all this stuff, the dad suddenly finds himself with $13.5 million. The son wants to buy a house that's 1.2. Just buy it. And you hold the mortgage. Don't involve a bank with the dad. It's just weird.
This guy's guilty of all sorts of badness around his finances. But why should we pick this fight right now? Why should we pick this fight right now? Why now are we going after Kavanaugh and all these other guys versus all the other fights we can pick in the world? Why would we go after him? Yeah.
The problem is Leonard Leo. I wrote a piece about Leonard Leo a couple weeks ago. Leonard Leo is basically the eminence grise behind the Federalist Society, the Beckett Fund, which is a legal fund that financed the Hobby Lobby defense, Nina, that you were talking about before, the Judicial Crisis Network, and all these other LLCs and PAC, Super PAC, and 501c, whatever the fuck they are. He's the dude that sits in the middle of it like a big fat spider, with his stuff, trying to get his judges there. He's really good. He was good friends. He's 56 years old, so he's much younger than I thought. He was good friends with Scalia. He's great. He's really good friends with Clarence Thomas. And he put 5 judges on the Supreme Court. 5. Plus Thomas makes 6. There are 7 Catholics on the Supreme Court right now, counting Sotomayor. That's insane. That doesn't represent, I'm Catholic. It's not a religious thing. It's like, it needs to be spread out and diversified. It's very, very odd. That's how successful Leonard Leo has been. And his big thing, Leonard Leo's thing, the reason he wants these judges on the court, he wants no abortion at all. He wants no choice for women at all. That's his thing. Because he has some fucking stupid third-grade idiot idea of what that means, okay? The guy thinks he's really smart, and he's a fucking moron, Leonard Leo. We talked about this last time, okay? He wants no choice at all. He wants no LGBTQ rights at all, and probably also no contraception at all. Well, most of the country wants those things.
And you left out no democracy at all. I mean,
not
really,
many, most. So the only way he's getting what he wants is to create a despotic government here, and that's what they're there to do.
And they are behind all the suppression laws in all the states right now. They're the ones pushing all these attempts to suppress voters' rights in all the
and they're going to sail by with this court. And Brett Kavanaugh, there's a thing. Moscow Never Sleeps, who's a contributor on Prevail, wrote this. There's Rehnquist wrote I forget the word. It's a thing that you write in the law that No, it's not a dissent. It's a sidebar kind of piece. I can't remember the word, begins with a C. That he snuck into one of the things in 2000 while they were trying to swing the vote and steal Gore's vote for Bush in Florida. And in that, it basically argues that the Supreme Court has the legal right to take over and impose its will whenever federal elections are involved on a state level, which applied to the furthest extent means that the Supreme Court can, in theory, according to this thing, tell the states what to say. No, Pennsylvania, you're not allowed to do that. In fact, no, Biden didn't win because tra-la-la, Trump is the guy. Whatever. That's what they want to have happen.
But they refused to enact. They refused to trigger that.
Yes, they refused to trigger it. But Kavanaugh, Kavanaugh put it in the pipeline. It's in the pipelines now. They want to. They have very long view. These people. Mm-hmm. They're trying to put it in the system so that it's precedent, so it eventually becomes law. The law. These people think in terms of centuries. Okay, this is what they want. So it's a danger. This guy is a danger, and the court does not represent America. It does not represent the population at all in any way demographically at all. We're not a country of right-wing weirdo Catholics. That's not what we are. You know,
is Gorsuch a Catholic?
Yes, they are all. 7 of 9 are Catholics. 6 of 9 are involved with this Leonard Leo Opus Dei thing. I don't know if they're in Opus Dei, but they're all involved with some, my word would be radical, fundamentalist, whatever you want to call it. There is no word for it, okay? But it's there and it's true, and that's what they are. Roberts and Thomas and Alito and Gorsuch and Kavanaugh and Amy Coney Barrett. Okay, they're all in this group. So will they eventually break free of it? We don't know. But Kavanaugh owes money to people. Somebody gave him money. If it's his parents, we need to know so we can be like, okay, it's your parents. It's cool. And by the way, it's not just the money. If you read the piece, he perjured himself like a lot. And he's involved and has been involved for many years with the dirtiest tricks that these right-wing operatives do. He was involved. He was in the Kenneth Starr thing. It was Brett Kavanaugh's idea to be like, hey, Clinton didn't really do anything that wrong, but he lied about the blowjob. Let's get him on that. It was Kavanaugh's idea to be like, let's hit him on perjury for this thing that really doesn't matter for national security. Wow. Let's ask about the blowjob. Let's bring in the Monica Lewinsky grand jury testimony. Let's talk about the cigar and the cum-stained dress and this awful stuff. Right? These high moral people are going to bring all this stuff in because they wanted to get him on perjury. So, okay, if you want to get Clinton on perjury, Brett, it works both ways, motherfucker. Okay? He perjured himself.
To work both ways, yeah.
Should
work both ways.
Yeah.
Does it really?
The Devil's Triangle is not a drinking game. The Devil's Triangle is 2 dudes and 1 lady in a sexual congress. That's what the Devil's Triangle is. Boof does not mean fart. It means boof. It means butt fuck because B-U-F-U combined at boof. That's what boof means, Brett Kavanaugh, which he damn well knows. Okay?
That's how he perjured himself?
No, there's other ways too. You got to read the piece. He knew damn well that Kaczynski attorney, the judge that was his mentor, had this, was a creep. Because everybody knew he was a creep. People at Yale Law School, 3,000 miles away, who never met the guy, knew he was a creep. Brett Kavanaugh somehow didn't know he was a creep and didn't have this email mailing list where he sent out dirty jokes. Is Brett Kavanaugh the sort of guy that wouldn't want to be on a mailing list that got dirty jokes?
No, he'd be the
Brett
guy.
Kavanaugh, who wrote about poofing and Devil's Triangle in his high school yearbook.
He'd be the first up there.
His humor is so refined that he wouldn't want his good buddies' dirty jokes sent to his email. Come on. No, there's the shit that he did when he was in the Office of Legal Counsel for Bush 43, the torture memo. He lied about the fucking torture memo. Wow. He was involved in those discussions. He said he wasn't. Those documents that show this are put away. Trump wouldn't release them, blah, blah, blah. There's reporting on this in the Washington Post, by the way. This isn't us speculating. He knew about it. He was involved in the discussions, and he lied about it. He probably lied about the Kasowitz thing. Even the calendar, okay? Remember he was like, well, I have this calendar from high school that shows that I wasn't at the calendar. He didn't produce the actual calendar. He showed a PDF, okay? And if you go to the page, you could click the link. Somebody on Twitter, God bless him, knows stuff about Adobe and looked at it and was like, this is a doctored thing.
Yeah.
It shows signs of being tampered with. This
there was
PDF,
no FBI investigation either, right? I mean, there was nothing.
The FBI investigation was shut down because when you investigate something like this, the guy who says what you can and can't investigate is the president of the United States. And Trump was not going to allow an investigation. The other investigation that we don't know about is who hacked Dr. Ford's email. We don't know that. The FBI was investigating that. That fell off a cliff. We don't know. But Brett Kavanaugh's good buddy, Mark Judge, swims with these sharks. By the way, who worked at the Daily Caller, Tucker Carlson owns, Nina. Yeah. So Tucker's involved with this shit too, right? That scumbag, okay? They know hackers. These people know how this stuff works. So Brett Kavanaugh is a dirty operative. He's in debt, and we don't know to who. Somebody paid off his things. He perjured himself a lot. And, oh, yeah, by the way, he, got drunk and sexually abused some people.
And that his work is not done. I mean, Leonard Leo's work is only just, it's still ongoing. They will continue to suppress voters' rights, and they will try turn this country into something that looks anything but a democracy. They'll try to turn it into some sort of, I don't know, will the Supreme Court
they want to overturn voters' rights. They want to overturn voters' rights and turn this place to tyranny. Yeah. That's what they want. So this is more important than anything.
And they're doing it right now in every state in the country. They're doing it right now. They're trying to suppress voters' rights, at least the ones they control. So everyone needs to fight for that because that's happening as we speak.
We need more Supreme Court justices. We need like 81 Supreme Court justices.
Yeah, I think so.
That would be the best way. That's why you need to get behind D.C. statehood and Puerto Rico statehood. I wrote about this. D.C. statehood is the obvious. It's the most obvious way for the Democrats to show that they know how to wield power. They can put that thing on the floor of the Senate. They can do a carve out. If Schumer wants to, unfortunately he won't, because he's not going to do any of those things, and he's not going to get rid of nobody's going to be able to get Kavanaugh off the court now. In order to get more people on the bench there, you have to have somebody who really knows how to twist arms and stand up to the force of social media pressure and all the money on the other side that is backing this push for tyranny. We need leaders like that. Where is the leader in the Congress who's going to do that? And you don't see. All they need to do. The first sign would be make DC a state. You're still not even close. If you make DC a state, you're still not close to where we need to be. Yep. And DC should be a state. In 20 years, 70 senators. In 20 years, 30 senators are going to represent. Sorry, I'm saying it backwards. 30 senators, 70 senators are going to represent 30% of the country.
Wow.
That's how lopsided the Senate's going to be. Let me just say that again. 70 senators will represent 30% of the country under the law and under the way that because we don't have, the population is not divided evenly among the states, and all the states get 2 senators. And if you're not going to make D.C. a state, and Puerto Rico and Guam and all of the other, then what are you going to do in 20 years?
Right. It's the only thing you can do is really, especially
D.C. Nina, how many votes?
You are a minority-ruled country already, and it's only going to get worse.
How many votes do we need in the Senate to give D.C. statehood?
Well, they'll filibuster it, so you got to get you'll have
60.
to get.
No, but do you only need 51 or do you need more?
They can do it with, they have to carve out against the filibuster. They have to do a
no, that's all that I wasn't sure. Oh yeah, then we have to get Klobuchar in there.
They have to do a carve out. They have to say, yep, we know we're going nuclear here, but just for this one thing, we're going to put DC on. D.C. has more people than some of the states that have senators. It has a larger population.
Puerto Rico would be like 14th, I think.
And Puerto Rico.
There's a lot of people in
Puerto Rico wants to be a state too.
Especially after everything they've been through.
I mean, that's the way you balance out the bench.
Absolutely.
And I don't know if the Democrats have what it takes to wield power. It doesn't seem like they know how to do it. Remember how, and they have the Senate now, they have the House, and they have the presidency. Let's get a move on here.
They haven't passed a single major bill yet.
I would like Klobuchar to get in there. Is what I would like. I would like Klobuchar to be the Senate Majority Leader.
I've been enjoying Sheldon White House on all.
Sheldon White House should run for president.
Yeah, he's really, really.
I would cast him.
They're going to have to change the name of the place where he lives.
Narrative is funded by viewers like you. Support our independent journalism at patreon.com/narrative.